It pains me to have to make this video, but I've been doing some further reading and I came across this article on thehollywoodgossip.com, and it turns out that those of us who've been criticising Meghan Markle, we're all racist. At first I was in denial. I was like, no, not me. I'm not racist. Then I started to think about it. Who are the people criticising her? Old white men. Nobody else.
Anyway, last night, Oprah interviewed an evil, nasty, dirty woman by the name of Meghan Markle.
Oh, come on. That's Jesse Lee Peterson. He's just a troll. Conservative, backward. He doesn't count. And plus, he's a man. He might hate Meghan just because she's a woman. Okay, so maybe some Christian conservative firebrands from Alabama, like Jesse Lee Peterson, maybe they dislike Meghan Markle. You won't find any black women who dislike Meghan Markle, I can guarantee you that.
Oh God, what a sick fest. Meghan Markle has finally started to earn her keep with her Archetypes podcast, and God, it's bad.
Obviously, Nana Aqua, she works for GB News. She's racist and she's British. Don't forget, British people hate Meghan Markle because they've been brainwashed by the press to hate her, because the press is racist, and so black British people are racist. I challenge you, though, to find me one black American woman who doesn't love Meghan Markle.
I don't care at all for the Harry and Meghan thing, except for the political undertones of somebody saying, I'm not liked, therefore it's because I'm 25% black. Like that stuff bothers me, whether it's, we're talking about Democrats saying it, we see that pollution all throughout Hollywood. So this Hollywood star going into a country that really sort of loves its traditions, and then accusing them of being fundamentally racist. It's just like, let's keep the American BS race narrative, at least within the bounds of America. Let's not extend it overseas to Europe, because they have a different culture there. They've been around much longer. England never had slaves in its country. And by the way, in terms of worldwide slavery, the Englishmen were the first to abolish it. So she's sort of relying on American ignorance and the race obsession in America and extending it overseas. It's really bothersome.
Okay, Candace. She's not even a Democrat. She votes Republican. Okay, so there are some black people who just refuse to follow the narrative. Crazy outliers on the fringe. I'm not going to call them any names, okay? Out there thinking for themselves. Are we really going to allow those radical outliers, those exceptions, to disprove the rule? The rules are clear. Most people don't like Meghan Markle. And the reason is most people are really racist. Okay, so let's get into the article then, because I think I'm going to overdose on sarcasm today. Racists are still obsessed with hating Meghan Markle. In the wake of Queen Elizabeth II's death, one thing has become crystal clear. Some of the most toxic portions of the UK media clearly hate Meghan Markle more than ever. It's not just tabloids either. The dirty tabloids. What the scum read. Anything that makes it sound more legitimate, doesn't it? It's not just those nasty tabloids that are coming after her anymore. It's now even the quite respectable media outlets and renowned journalists, royal experts, people who used to work for her, right the way down to YouTubers and just random people in the street. It's becoming quite compelling, but it's still basically racism. Why do they hate her? For carrying flowers at the memorial? No. Or for holding her husband's hand? No. For mourning? No. Or for not mourning enough? No. We truly need to call this what it is. A lot of people viscerally hate Duchess Meghan because she is black. Because she is black, and they are racist.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Before we delve into the hysterics that the British tabloids have shrieked in recent days, let's first look at the facts. The fact is, you'd be getting an A in one of my English classes, sunshine. Lovely use of vocabulary there. Hysterics, shrieked. Really emphasises your point. Well done. So let's get into these undeniable facts. Meghan returned to a country that reviles her, knowing that she will be interacting with people who resent her, at best. Why? to support her husband, to support his family, and to mourn the loss of her husband's late grandmother. Her husband's late grandmother, Her Majesty the Queen of England. You wash your mouth out, you two-bit hack. Oh, and by the way, your first fact, thought we were getting into the facts, is wrong. She was in England to do this shit speech.
But I was first invited. I was probably like, how on earth did I get here? So how am I here? And there I was the girl from Suits. And I was invited. I was so overwhelmed by this experience. I think I even saved my little paper place card that said my name on it. That I was there, that I belonged. I wasn't sure that I belonged. I was so nervous.
Anyway, back to the facts. Duchess Meghan did not in any way flout tradition, make events about her, or disrespect the family's grief. Yeah, because most people, when they go to their husband's grandmother's funeral, don't flout tradition, make events about themselves, or disrespect the family's grief. It's almost as though you expected her to do some of those things, you know, because she's so obviously a narcissist. And that's what a narcissist would do. The royal family must have been crossing their fingers. Please don't let her make it about her. It's like the Queen when Philip died was reported to have said, thank God Meghan wasn't here. Because she's a narcissist, and I've been to funerals with narcissists, and they do make it about themselves. They're twats. Let's see just how else Meghan Markle, suffering Meghan Markle, went out of her way not to steal the show at the Queen's funeral. When really, you know, she'd be well within her rights. She wore black, as is customary for funerals. She made public appearances. In every way, her behaviour demonstrated respect and sensitivity. It always did. It was almost like she was at the Queen's funeral. Again, the tone makes it feel as though everyone expected her to throw some kind of public tantrum. Turn up at the funeral in a summer dress with a tiara. Over the weekend following the Queen's death, Harry and William put aside their alleged feud. Together with their wives, they stepped outside to mourn outside Windsor. They looked over the tributes and offerings that the public mourners had left. It was a solemn and appropriate display, unless, of course, you ask the anti-Meghan crowd. If you ask a certain type of critic, white men, Meghan might as well have ground up the Queen's body and sold the dust to an apothecary, as the 19th century Brits did with the Egyptian mummies. Should all still be very offended by that, by the way. Colonialism, me. Yes, that is a real thing that happened, not only in Europe, but famously in Europe. They're the only real bad people on earth. The Japanese emperors, the North African Moors, the Aztecs and Incas, all stunning and brave cultures that never did anything wrong. Everywhere was and is great that isn't and wasn't Europe. Ugh, white people. For one thing, Meghan carried her own flowers at some point. This is, we are to understand, unforgivable. Yep, that's right. Nobody said it was just a faux pas. No, they said it was unforgivable. Hated her for it. Vitriol. Racist misogynists. Ugh, carrying her flowers. Meghan kept a largely neutral expression, dignified without making assumptions. Yeah, neutral, except that weird one tear that was rolling down her cheek for ages, which she didn't wipe away, and seemed to be in complete dissonance with her facial expressions and normal human behaviour, especially given the fact she's said in interviews in the past that she can cry on cue, but only from her left eye. But hey, yeah, neutral, normal, very human. Or as self-styled armchair expression experts would have you believe, what have I become? She was smirking the whole time.
No, 1,000 times no.
Meanwhile, another group of Meghan haters accused her of faking grief or even exaggerating sadness to draw attention to herself.
No, 1,000 times no.
25 years ago, the world watched in sadness as Prince Harry and his brother took part in the funeral march alone. This month, Harry had someone to hold his hand, his loving wife, the mother of his children. But a vicious online contingent, make them sound like a terrorist cell. A vicious online contingent flipped out about their hand-holding, suggesting that the gesture was inappropriate. It is increasingly difficult to conjure up explanations for why holding her husband's hand at a funeral is a grievous faux pas. Well, some things just are. This sounds like the sort of gripe that someone who already hates Meghan would come up with. You know, I kind of agree with that analysis a little bit. Like when you snarl over some guy in his stupid scarf. It's not the scarf, it's the person wearing it. Yes, I think you're right in a sense, but the reason they already hate her is not because of her race or her sex. That's the part you're getting wrong. It's because she's a dickhead. Simply put, Meghan is a black woman. In case you hadn't realised yet, Meghan is a black woman, and that is why everyone dislikes her. She is also American and divorced. But Charles' former mistress is now Queen Consort without this kind of hate. Coincidence? Yes, Camilla Parker Bowles is more likeable just because she shuts up and fades into the background than Meghan Markle, who constantly whimpers about her victim narrative. British people are very ironic. They don't take sob stories. They don't like them. In general, shouldn't generalise. I know you think we're all racist, so, it's good not to generalise. Camilla is many things, but she is white. Ah, so insightful, so deep. A certain sort of person can forgive that. Racists cannot forgive Meghan, however. This has really opened my eyes. One could conceivably imagine that a person could dislike Meghan for non-racist reasons. I can't imagine how. But pretending that the vast majority of it is not fueled almost exclusively by racism is absurd. Yes, it's absurd to think that the vast majority of people are not racist. That's absurd. That's mental. And intellectually dishonest. Truly, we cannot address problems like bigotry without first acknowledging that they exist. Woo! I'm sure glad that's over. I hope this will help you all to reflect and to repent. We've all got a lot of thinking to do, a lot of healing.